Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Bullion. Our guest today is Aaron Dishner, co-founder and lead instructor at thebettertraders.com and Mastering Assets. Thank you for joining us, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Ivan. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's a huge pleasure having you back. I wanted to get you on to talk about everything that's happening in the markets, stock market, cryptos, silver, and gold. First, though, let's start off with gold and silver. As we're recording this today on the 2nd of April, what are you seeing that's going on right now in the markets with gold, silver, the stocks?
Gold is killing it right now, and it makes complete sense because the markets are extremely panicked and fearful about Trump's newly introduced tariffs on Liberation Day. I think it's more of like a liberation from our portfolios, and that we don't have to worry about having a portfolio anymore, is what it feels like. But gold is skyrocketing. It's extremely bullish on pretty much every metric, but particularly on the weekly time frame. I pay a lot of attention to RSI. And when RSI is above 70 on the weekly time frame, man, oh man, that means that there is an extremely strong bullish trend. And I'm pretty sure the last time I checked, gold's RSI or weekly RSI reading was like above 80, maybe like 85. So nothing's stopping this train right now. There are no signs of stopping. My next target for gold's probably gonna be like 3,500, which probably has a lot of precious metals people super duper happy because it's
Oh
already
yeah.
been on a tear. Yeah.
Yeah, so why do you think the tariffs are affecting the markets? Is it just because of the uncertainty, or is it a bigger general picture? Why is it affecting stocks? Why is it affecting cryptos? Like what's going on?
I think the reason, honest to God, the reason why it's affecting the market so much is because information is way too accessible in our modern age. Think back to when we were kids. I didn't know what a tariff was. My parents didn't care about a tariff, and yet they still existed. They've existed for, I would say, almost 100 years, if not longer. Like
Right.
it's been a normal practice of every single government to tax incoming goods from other countries, so that way they're making money on those trades. Like that's the whole idea of a tariff.
Right.
So it's supposed to be a positive thing to help countries to well, boost their economy. And when it's an extremely, well, I don't know, popular is the right word to use right now for the United States, but it's a very strong economy, a very strong country. Many people want to do trade with that country, so they're unfortunately going to be the target of extremely high tariff percentages or tariff rates. And that's what the US has seen. And unfortunately, um, the decisions that President Trump is making is having a lot of short-term pain on all markets, on crypto, on the stock market, on foreign exchange markets. But I ultimately believe that the decisions that he's making, I mean, he's not a complete idiot. Not everyone is a genius. He does have a cabinet of advisors, and he's not making all these decisions alone as a lone wolf. So I do believe that he's making these decisions for the betterment of America. It's just at the cost of short-term gains, sorry, short-term pain for long-term gains.
There's about $15 trillion worth of physical gold in the world sitting there costing money rather than being used is just absolutely insane. Monetary Metals is bringing gold back into the financial world, putting gold to productive use right now. The problem with gold, of course, in physical form is that it's heavy, it's cumbersome, it's not particularly easy to ship, and it costs money to store in a protected manner. This platform Monetary Metals created is a proven concept and allows gold to be put to productive use. So instead of sitting there costing you money, it's actually in use earning you money.
Learn how you can earn 2 to 5% in our leasing program and how accredited investors can earn up to 12% on silver paid in silver. This advertisement is not investment or financial advice. Minimum investment applies.
So, do you think it'll be reversed? Because you're saying short-term pains for the long-term gains. So, like, what do you see happening in the stock market, or what do you see even happening in the precious metals market overall in the short term?
Precious metals markets shouldn't relatively be affected because they're still seen as a store of value. I've given up the idea that Bitcoin is the digital gold. I think that it has promise of being digital gold, but gold still is a very strong flight to safety in times of uncertainty, and that's exactly where we are right now, and that's exactly why the price of gold keeps going up. So when I look at the difference between price action between Bitcoin and gold, Bitcoin is so much more volatile. And Bitcoin is actually the least volatile of all cryptocurrencies. So you can imagine that
Wow.
Bitcoin flash crashing 3%, which to stock traders, that's a lot. Crypto, that's nothing. That's like a sneeze. That's like losing an eyelash, right? Um, so we see like Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Doge, all these other coins dumping 6, 9, 12, 15% in a day. Easy on
Which is
bad
a
news
lot.
like
Like
this.
15% in a day. I mean, that low really hurts someone's portfolio.
Exactly. Especially leverage traders, which unfortunately lots of people in crypto love to use leverage and they get burned way too much. You don't need leverage in an already insanely volatile market, personally. But yeah.
Yeah. So I guess another question I wanted to ask you is, other than the tariffs and other than everything that you're keeping an eye on right now, what's your biggest concern in the markets globally? What's your biggest concern? What do you have an eye on right now?
The biggest concern I have is the clearly visible signal that gold just continues to pump. And as I said before, when gold is pumping, that's a sign of uncertainty in world markets. It's not just a US thing. It's not just a Bank of Japan thing. It's an everywhere thing. So when gold is pumping, either due to geopolitical risks or fears of wars, economic uncertainty, it's not going to be a great signal for everything else. Everything else will suffer. Another thing I've been watching slowly unfold, which is not a good sign, is that the S&P has been flashing a lot of really bearish signals on the weekly time frame, echoing what happened back in 2021. So my expectations of crypto going up a lot higher this year, if things don't change quickly, I'm expecting crypto to follow the S&P, which everything's going to be crashing yet again. But eventually it's going to rise back up. Eventually it's going to be going up to new all-time highs. But it's how do we weather our portfolio during these times of uncertainty and unexpected drawdown, where your initial trade setups start getting stopped out, or you're holding red bags and you have to make the decision, what do I do now?
Hello, my fellow silver and gold stacker. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching the channel. Subscribe, please like the video, and also hit the notification bell. Keep stacking. Yeah, no, absolutely. What would be your main piece of advice, I guess, for new people who are joining this channel, for anyone new who wants to, get into investing or even preserve their wealth and their purchasing power? What would be your advice to them, even if they're youth or they're younger, a lot younger crowd? What would you tell them right now, especially in the uncertainty in the markets right now?
Yeah, so I would say the best thing to do in any period is to follow the money. If you see a chart that's doing extremely well in adverse times, or everything's just doing really well, that's a good indication that you can just follow those charts. You might be feeling like you're buying the top. For instance, with gold, when gold hit $3,000, buying it there actually you'd still be in profit. You'd still be doing just fine.
Right.
It's worth having long-term convictions on some holds, but it's also okay to sell at a slight loss if that's something you're comfortable with. Not selling everything, but selling a little bit, and then freeing up some funds so that when the price goes down lower, you can reinvest those funds that you took a loss on at a lower price to average down your entry, like DCA. It's a
Right.
losing strategy of DCA, but that's actually something I've used several times to exit positions in the green
Oh
after
yeah.
being down massively. So it just depends on what's your risk appetite. And in regards to crypto, you don't have to go farther than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the most resilient out of all cryptocurrencies for a very good reason, because it's the number one market cap, because it's the most desirable cryptocurrency. You can't print any more Bitcoin. There will only be 21 million, and out of those 21 million, 4 million approximately are lost. So there's a lot of demand for Bitcoin, even as the price goes lower. You're going to continue to see companies like Metaplanet buying. You're going to see GameStop buying more. You're going to see uh, MicroStrategy, or now just Strategy. They're going to be buying more. It's unstoppable. It's just unfortunate when the price goes down, it tests a lot of people's convictions. But if you want exposure to crypto, Bitcoin is the easiest train to jump on because it's going to be the least volatile.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Aaron, before you go, I really love for people to connect with you. Where can people connect with you?
Yeah, so I have a Linktree account. I'll go ahead and share it with you, but it has all
Sure.
of my official links for YouTube, X, the Better Traders website, Mastering Assets, and everything that's legit, because there are lots of fakes out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a crazy world out there, especially
Yeah.
in the the financial space.
Yep.
But Aaron, I want to thank you so much for coming down to Wall Street Bullion to talking to the silver gold community, the investing community. And as the market develops, as always, would really love to have you back on.
Yeah, thanks again for having me.
No problem. Talk to you soon.
All right, see ya.